Hey everybody, this is Lady She from Hot Mic with Lady She podcast. I am excited today. Everybody who knows me knows I love God and I love music. I'm a fake singer on a low. I sing a little bit. But today, my guest is the epitome of loving God, loving music, and blessing God's people through His gifts.
Amen.
Presenting to some and introducing to others, Mr. Antoine Hilton.
Hello, how are you?
Finally, finally. We've been seeing each other in passing, but I'm like, I need you to come on the mic. Let's go.
I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you so much for coming. Let me say this. This is Antoine Hilton, also from Hempstead, okay?
Yes.
And I didn't do that on purpose. It's just we just got some dope people in Hempstead. Let me just be clear. I just want y'all to understand, like, it's just what it is. So it just keep happening. Don't get mad at me. We got dope people from my town. So thank you so much again for coming.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Hey. All right. So we could just jump right now. I already told them where you from Hempstead. So what was it like growing up in Hempstead?
It was great. You know, Hempstead is like a big family out here. Everybody knows everybody.
It's so true.
I was born here, actually right down the block at Nassau County Medical, and I grew up on the Heights.
Okay, Heights World in the building again. That's what's up.
Yeah, and then you know, I went to different towns because my mom, dad separated, and we had to go to different towns. But we always came back home to Hempstead.
Right. So, are you the only child?
No, it's 7 of us.
Nice.
Yes, it's 7 of us.
Kind of be jealous y'all that had a bunch of siblings, man. Because it had to be fun in there. Like it had to be a movie every day.
Every single day.
That's what I'm saying.
Every single day. It's still a movie. Even though we're all adults and everybody moves to different places, when we get together for like holidays, so much fun. Nothing but laughs and talking about the past.
Right. I love that. So 7 of you growing up in Hempstead, like you said, moving around. So at what age did your parents decide to depart?
They departed when I was young. So what happened was my mom, she was married and her first husband passed away.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it was my older brothers and my older sister. And then she married my dad.
Okay.
Years later, and my dad passed away.
Okay.
So she had to go through 2 different deaths. And
right.
with that being said, we was kind of like here and there because mother raising 7 kids.
Yeah.
On her own, but she did the best she can, and to this day, I appreciate her for everything she's done.
Listen, shout out to mom, okay? Shout out to mom. We only get one. I love that. So first of all, being a young boy, how many girls? How many boys is it?
It's 2 girls, 5 boys.
5 boys. Ooh, I know y'all had trouble, girls. I already know because I had 2 brothers growing up, and yeah, okay. Bless you. So, but what was it like understanding, even at a young age, that your mom went through this devastation of losing both? Well, technically 2 dads. Your other siblings lost 2 dads.
Yes,
so what was that like?
I can imagine it was very hard for her. I was young, so I didn't understand it at first.
So how old were you when your dad passed?
When my dad passed, I was a senior in high school.
Oh.
But even at that point, you still don't know the severity of it. Losing a husband, or even though they separated, they were still, husband and wife. Yeah. Yes. And they had children together. So it's a tough situation, I'm a dad now, to actually lose the other partner. You care for the kids more than anything. And I couldn't imagine at that age what my mom had to go through.
Right. Did your mom, did you grow up in a church?
Absolutely.
So did your parents sing?
Yes, my mother's a singer. My dad is actually was a singer too, but he used to sing in this real high falsetto, and it was like, it was so cool.
Like, Dad, where you going?
It was so cool, but it was just funny because he was like a big muscular guy, and he had this real high pitched voice.
Wow.
It was really cool, but my mom is a bona fide singer.
Really? And does she still sing?
Absolutely.
What?
Absolutely. You get her in the church, she'll turn it out.
I love that. No, we had me and my mom used to sing around the house as well. My brothers couldn't sing, so we were the ones who would be in there and all of that stuff. So I can imagine, like, that had to be fun being able to do that, sharing that thing with your mother.
Yeah, but she used to tell me, would you be quiet? Go in your room and sing. Enough is enough. But in church, she wanted me to sing until Kingdom Come. I deal with that now with my daughter. Nonstop singing.
Really? I love that. Listen, I love how God is, when they say that be careful how you are with your parents, because you could, when you become a parent, you may have.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what that is. When I saw you, God has such a sense of humor. Like, I love that. I love that so much.
And I love that she does that, and I can relate to it. But just like when you're trying to watch TV and she's going through the house, and she's still trying stuff now. So it's like she sound good, but then she don't. She sound good, and she don't. I'm like,
it's like hit and miss. You in there like,
yeah, she's trying different things, which I understand. You know, when you starting out singing, you want to, what can I do?
Right.
What can I do? What sounds good? What feels good? So
that one, what feels good?
yeah, I know
love
what
that.
she is right now.
That's dope. That's dope. So mom's a singer. Any of your other siblings?
Yes. Yes. My brothers, they had a quartet group called the Cunningham Specials, and I idled them, like, to an
because you're
extent.
the younger one, right?
Yeah, I'm the youngest boy, so I formed my own group with some of my cousins and my other brother from Hempstead, and we was the Cunningham Special Juniors.
I love that. They ain't even like fake it. They like, nah, we really love y'all, so we gonna be juniors.
Right. So we sung one time at a church event, and my second oldest brother, was on the drums playing, and he stood up. He said, "You singing with us from now on." I was like, "Yes,
dope.
I made it."
Oh my god, he said, "I made it." No, but seriously, like, we're laughing, but getting like the approval of your older sibling is like everything when you're the youngest.
Absolutely.
When you're small, you like this. Like, do they see me? So
yeah,
I
kicking
love
me
that.
out of their meetings.
I love that. Now, is everybody still around here, or?
Two of my brothers are still in Nassau.
Okay.
One of my brothers is in Jersey, and the other ones went down south with my mom.
Okay. All right. So mom's in the South.
Mom's in the South. Cool. She just moved out there about 3 years ago.
Okay. So that give you a reason to travel and go visit. Okay.
Absolutely.
I see what you did there. That's what's up. All right. So how did you get? Now, I'm thinking, well, because your mom was a singer, I guess you already had that kind of like comfortability with singing.
Yeah, but I was challenged because I had a cousin. He passed away actually last year. He was from North Carolina. Okay. And he moved out to Hempstead because my grandmother in Dakota, she had, you want to come?
Come on in.
Was packed in there.
Right.
And he came from down south. He was my age, and he was singing like a bird. And I was like, wow, he's amazing. I was like, I'm not there yet.
Right.
So my brother, he was part of Cunningham Special Juniors. So my brother was saying, like, while we was up there singing, he's like, give me more. Like, he played a bass. He's like, give me more. So as I was singing, and I was giving it more and more and more, and I saw some potential. I was like, wow. He challenged me on the stage to go to another level. And from then on, I started feeling more comfortable in my skin.
I love that. Listen, it's always that. Those are the people that you never forget that pushed you.
Absolutely.
That pushed you, that pushed you. You don't forget those people. So if you want to be that person for somebody. Because sometimes we really don't know. We honestly don't know. And someone always sees. That's why we have the seers. God gives certain people the gifts to see. Amen. So thank you, Lord, for the seers. That was awesome. So now, singing in church, what other, now once your mother realized, like, he ain't gonna be quiet, was it a thing where, like, because my mom like put me in plays and stuff when I was younger. So was it any of that going on when you were younger?
No.
So just church?
It was just church. My mom, she was a real, it was even hard for me to play sports because she wanted me in church.
Oh, gotcha.
And I don't knock her for that because I see the road of some people who were so into like sports and so into like different things, and now they have nothing to. But what she allowed me to do and where she allowed me to do it is where my future came from.
Right. That was a bar. That was a whole bar. No, I literally got flashbacks from some people from school, living in Hempstead. Sports is a big thing in our town. So I absolutely remember seeing certain people that was their life, and now they have nothing going on. Like, even with not being able to get a job, because unfortunately, a lot of times the town wants you to win, and they don't care about the education part. So now you don't even know how to fill out the application. So now you 30, 40, trying to figure it out, and it's hard. So thank you for saying that. Keeping your kids grounded in church, giving them the gift of knowing who God is will always keep them. That's how I feel.
Yes, and also parents need to pay attention to their children, see what their wants are, what their needs are for one, but they'll show you flashes of who they're going to be. And once you see that, you do whatever you can to cultivate it and nurture it into the point where it's successful for them. Because God give us, He said, I know you since you was in your mother's womb.
That's the one.
So He know exactly where you're going, exactly what you're doing. So the parents, God trusts us to gear these children the way they should go. And just pay attention.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that, sir. And I'll say it's very easy. Like even with the story with your mother, it could have been very easy for her to fall into depression and not see any of your gifts because she's dealing with what she's dealing with.
Absolutely.
Grieving can take you to a place that can be very deep and very dark.
Yes.
So I'm grateful that your mom knew God. So I'm sure that was probably what was her anchor to keep herself lifted and keep her children lifted.
Absolutely.
So, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. So now, have you ever wanted to do anything else but sing?
Well, I'm a musician. I love acting.
Okay.
And I've done some acting. But singing has always been my thing. And it's sometimes I feel like I wasn't the best singer in some rooms, and sometimes I felt like I was the best singer in some rooms. But it was always a medium, like it's always an even kill. And music has actually done everything that I needed to do for me and for my loved ones and the people I need to reach. So music has always been the end all be all. At one point, I told my mother I'm going to the army, and she said, "No, you're not."
She's like, "I'm sorry. Wait, what happened now?" Who?
Because we got to always also understand, pay attention to our children and people in the community that they have phases, and in these phases, you got to understand like when you get to know them, like what's real and what's a phase. Some things are just not real, and we have to accept they're evolving and the people changing, and they're experimenting because experiment is the best teaching.
Right,
so
absolutely.
Sometimes you gotta let them venture off, but keep them grounded. Like say, this is what you're gonna do.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. That was good. That was absolutely good. So now, give us some of the things that singing or being a musician, has opened up for you. Where like I know, first of all, I'm staying in that vein that God has gifted me to do, but I just see the higher heights. Like God just keeps showing me every round goes higher.
Absolutely. I was young and I was singing, and it brought me around a lot of great people. And that was a sign there, like you said, your gift will make room for you and bring you amongst great men. So it brought me among great people. So I said, oh, that's a gift. And I was a young dude doing the hooks for the rappers and all of this stuff. And
he just chose violence. Y'all better not ever play some of the stuff that I used to do because it was horrible.
Yeah. So and to this day, I'm friends with a lot of those people, and they used to pay for my studio time and all these different things. And then as I got older, you hit these bumps in the road, and you're like, all right, maybe I should do something else. It's not going as fast at my pace.
Right.
Maybe I should do something else. And then at one time, I remember my producer had passed away.
Oh wow.
Rest in peace, Kip Collins. And I just was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Because he was flying back and forth to Hawaii, selling a huge deal. And I don't like to bring this story up because it's kind of hard.
Of course.
But I had just given my life to Christ, and what he and I was working on for many years was secular world music, and they had the ink on the paper, and God took his life. But right before that, I had a dream, and I was looking in the sky, and as I was looking in the sky, I saw a light in the sky, and it said, anything that takes you away from me, I'm going to get rid of it. So I was like, wow, and not saying that is the reason why he passed away, God forbid, but I'm just saying like, anything that try to stop God's plan for my life, they have to be real careful. And anyone, he said, touch not my anointing, do my prophets
no harm.
So anything that when God has a plan for you, all these stumbling blocks are getting in the way, they got to be real careful. So at that point, I was like, gave music a break. And then they kept calling me, Antoine, can you do this? Can you do this? Oh, Antoine, oh, this door's open. I'm like,
Mm-mm.
So I took those opportunities, and then I came to another stumbling block. And I said, I'm getting rid of all of my equipment. I'm
Wow.
not doing it anymore. And it wasn't because I didn't love it, it's because of the ups and downs.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to be built. When God is strengthening you, you got to be built for these stages. And you got to go through the ups and the downs, the disappointments, the yeses and nos. And then when I did that, I got a phone call, and this guy said, Hey, Antoine, um, I'm getting rid of all of my equipment. I want to give it all to you. And it was an upgrade from what I had.
Come on, God.
I said, all right, God.
Like, really? This is what we doing today?
All right. So I shall continue.
Yeah.
So that was, it kept me in mind, like, this is my purpose. This is what I'm doing. So as I got older and I got more experience, I was exposed to different things. And when you're doing it, you don't realize all the things that you're doing until you sit down and look back. Wow, I did this. I did that. And people were waiting their whole lives to do stuff that I already did.
Hello in here. I love that you mentioned he will make room for your gifts. I really I don't think, and you also said you don't know what's happening like while you're in it. It's the same thing when you're out there in the world, in the secular world.
Absolutely.
You know that God has given you this gift, but you kind of want to do what you want to do. And then when something, unfortunately, sometimes it has to be tragedy hits, then you have to kind of come to.
Right.
So I'm just gonna say this to you, and then we're gonna move on. Reference, because I felt all of that. I felt all of that when you said, your friend passed away, and not saying that this is why, but it's so important. And God bless you. It's so important to have that awareness, and God will show you that I have given you this gift, and I want to be able to entrust you with it.
Right.
But I also understand I made you from dirt. So you're going to make mistakes.
Absolutely.
And you're going to get into a certain space where you feel comfortable, because let's be real, the enemy blesses his own. Absolutely. He will have you feeling like, I'm up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm where I'm supposed to be. And it ain't real. And he will just drop you just like that. Absolutely. Because it's not God. So thank you for sharing that. Because a lot of people sometimes just be like, what's the and I don't know who made the saying up. I wish they would get rid of it. People say stuff like not if it ain't one thing, it's another one. That's so extreme. I can't win for losing. Oh. So you'll get into that space where like stuff keep happening because you still trying to do what you want to do, when he like, I'm showing you, and I keep trying to tell you what you're supposed to be doing because I made you with purpose. Yeah. So thank you for continuing to move in your purpose. Because y'all gotta hear his music. I'm still in love with Halle. Like, I love Halle. My whole family know that song now. And just because of, once again, the divine connections, being from Hempstead. Shout out to Marissa Jackson. Yes, Marissa. Coming to the play and you singing that song. I'm like, I'm supposed to be a background singer. My husband's like, calm down, little one, calm down. I'm like, Antoine gonna know my name. That's it. I'm quitting my job. I'm supposed to be singing for the Lord. And he's like, really? I'm like, no, but it felt good. It felt good. I love that song. So talk to us about the music. Like, I know you can be a musician, but certain things may not be your niche. So how does that go in reference to creating? And you mentioned dreaming. Clearly, God is with you in your dreams. So is that how it manifests?
Yes, a lot of times he deal with me in dreams. I'll hear a song in my sleep. And I wake up, grab my phone, half sleep, and I put the melody in my phone just so I don't forget.
Do that, y'all. That helps.
Then I go back to sleep.
Right.
Yes. But creating a sound is, I think, the most time consuming.
Okay.
Because you have a million people doing what you do. And you have to use the sound that God gave you. And even when you're doing construction or any type of work, there's a certain level of skill that you have that in that department that makes you stand out when you're a child of God. And I was telling somebody, because when David was, was going to be king, Saul was like,
Well.
So he tried to promote him under him. You can be captain, you can be this, you can all these different things, but still under me.
No, sir.
So when you're gifted and you're anointed, anything you touch that's on that you're doing as part of your life, you can be the best at it.
Yeah.
But you have to create your lane. You can't do what the other people are doing. Unfortunately, we're picked out to be picked on.
That's the one. Hello. That's a fact.
So creating songs like Holly, I said, you know what? Through the years, I found out what people respond to the most from me, not from the artists out there, but from me. And I've noticed they like the raspy stuff, and they like the falsetto that my dad used to do. And so I try to combine all of that into creating, like give them people what they want and what I feel.
Right.
Because I believe if I feel it and it touches me, because when I listen to Holly myself, like I be getting chills myself. So I know how it makes me feel. And I know if it makes me feel this way, it's going to make the world feel that way. So that's pretty much what I gear towards to in creating.
Let me ask you this. It may sound a little off. When it comes to producing, do you produce?
Yes.
Everything?
Just about.
Just about. Okay. So the ones you do not produce, how do you choose a producer?
That's a really good question. Somebody just submitted a song to me. Number one, they got to be humble because just because you present a song, this is your guess of how I should sound. If I'm able to give my input, then we can work together. How can two work together unless they agree?
Unless they agree.
So I like to be able to put my input into it, and it has to fit the message. So I don't just do random songs. Like every song has to make sense and geared towards a message. Right. So if it fits the message, and I'm like, okay, this can work for my project.
Gotcha. And one of the reasons why I asked that as well is because I know like music is so powerful. You know, it's universal. Music can touch anyone. I mean, you know, there's where we're from also too. You know, there'll be the dudes that you know out there selling drugs, doing whatever they do in the street, but they'll come to church and say, hear the music.
Yeah.
Because it just does something to you. Absolutely. With that, because of the power in it, one of the things I realized, even like we're going to church and stuff, you can hear the difference when the minstrels are not living for God. When the minstrels don't have the word. So I asked you that because I'm thinking that because you want to please God with your gift, you have to be mindful of the producer that you use.
Absolutely.
Because of what's going on with them internally. Because even with like some of the bigger gospel artists, you start to see their music shift. And it's just different. And I feel like sometimes they lose themselves. Absolutely. Or they lose the message.
Trying to stay relevant.
So to speak.
Yeah.
So how do you stay how do you stay true to who God has made you in this industry? Because it's such a big industry now. It's like growing. How do you stay true to you and the gifts that he's giving you?
Yeah. A lot of people, they're insecure with themselves. So they go on what you think is good for me. What you think, and they allow people to gear when you're not ruled and governed by God, and you're just ruled and governed by your gift or the people around you. You accept and you take anything. I thank God that He put me in a position where I can produce the majority of my stuff. And speaking of that, I was talking about David earlier, how God used David to play instruments to take spirits out. So we understand the power of music. And there have been times where I can take, you said, let the wheat and the tear grow together. Yeah. But there's been times where I heard something and I said, if I can give my input in this and they deny it, I'm saying, okay, I understand.
Right.
I understand where this is going. But if I put my input into it and they actually ready to work, and because I'm coming with the Spirit of God in everything I do, and I want it to be pleasing in His eyesight, and I'm very careful and cautious about what I say, what I do, even posting on social media, because you can be angry one day and post something that you regret. I don't
even
do that.
commenting.
Even commenting.
How about that, y'all?
Yeah, absolutely.
Be mindful.
You got to be mindful. So I kind of like am mindful of and pretty cautious about what I do, who I share the stage with. I'm gonna give you an example. I was singing at this convention every year, big convention, and I had a singer with me, and the convention.
As a background?
As a background
okay.
singer.
Okay.
During the convention, the lady came to me and she said, as long as you have that person singing with you, I can't call you back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And not the funny thing, but the sad thing about it is I knew that spirit.
Yeah.
I knew that spirit, and I should have corrected it or did what I had to do prior to that. But that's going according to your gifts and who's around instead of following the voice of God.
Discernment. Wow. But kudos to the person for being obedient and saying that to you.
Absolutely.
Because let me say this, that's connected to your character and your integrity. Because another person probably will like, you see what he did, and you saw her, and you saw, and just be talking about you,
right,
and let you keep carrying on with that. So God bless that person that came to you for that, and confirm, because you already knew.
Yeah, definitely.
You already knew. Definitely. Wow. So now you're creating this music. God is putting you in spaces. What is give us something that, or maybe an event where you were like, God, you know what? You ain't playing about me right now. You are not playing about me. I'm really at such and such, or I'm really doing music with. Have you had any of those moments?
Yes, just 2 weekends ago. It's the most recent moment. When I was young, as I said, all my siblings, my mom, when Bobby Jones came on,
yeah, I was waiting for you to bring it up.
Everybody was like, "We watching Bobby Jones." Bobby Jones was like, and as a kid, I used to sit there and watch it like this, like, I would love to be on that show.
Yeah.
And just 2 weekends ago, I was able to go to the Bobby Jones show, and when he announced me, but then after he heard the song "God Is," he started quoting the words on TV. So I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so dope."
Oh my goodness, I got chills, y'all. Bobby Jones, though, like, you just gotta understand. You just have to understand.
Exactly, and
who was at that TV?
Yes, at the TV, and he's such a great guy.
Right.
He didn't get this far by being arrogant and pompous. He's a great guy. He's very sociable, and if you got something, he'll tell you.
Right. Hello.
And I thank God that he said we had something.
Yeah. Come on, let's go. So now, just going back, we were talking about your mom, raising you guys 7 children. Now you said you're a dad.
I am.
So how does that work? How?
Everybody knows me as like, I'm like the punk dad.
Not the punk dad.
I'm the punk dad.
You're a girl dad. That's what it basically kind of comes down to, as they say.
I really believe in, the old school way is pat them on the butt and all of this stuff. Like, I really believe if you connect with your children, because my mom, she didn't have to touch me much at all. She just had to say things and pull my heartstrings. And when you get to know your children and you say things like, I expected more of you. You disappointed me. But you can recover by doing this. Right. I have to take this thing from you. And you have to know how it feels to not have these privileges. So I take my time. I'm very even keel. You very, very seldom hear me scream unless I'm singing. And people consider us like the punk. Oh, you soft. I'm not soft. I understand that what you do as a parent when they're young can affect them when they're older.
Yes, sir.
So I gotta be very mindful of that. So I love being a dad. I have to kind of like divide my time because being a dad, I don't want to be a part-time dad.
That part.
Full-time dad, full-time musician, full-time minister. So, you got to kind of say, all right, I'm gonna give 100% of this. I'm gonna get 100% of this, and try to balance your time.
Right. So now, when it comes to balancing your time, because that was a lot. How do you really do that though without burning out?
That's the thing. A lot of times people do everything at one time. They want to raise their children, be in the studio, be ministers, then please your friends, hang out, and do it all at one time.
Right.
You got to actually create a schedule for yourself, whether it's written down or mental schedule. On this day, I'm going to do this. On this day, I'm going to do this. Sometimes things infiltrate, and you got to make that choice.
Right.
Do I have the mental space for this right now? Do I have the time for this right now? If not, it has to wait.
Hello.
A lot
Boundaries.
of people, yes, boundaries, and a lot of people don't understand the waiting process, and God, He gives us that as believers, faith, waiting patiently, and when you're able to do that, you'll find yourself kind of like cruising.
I love it. I love it. So one of the reasons I also wanted you to come, and I just say it's definitely God's timing, because I've been trying to get him for a minute, right?
Yes.
We've been trying to figure it out, because I got a crazy schedule as well. So I know it's God that I was able to get you at this particular time while I'm doing this specific series. So with this series, Men Where Art Thou, I really wanted the men to speak on how they feel when it comes to being a Black man, dealing with things like mental health and depression. And that's why I asked you about, the scheduling. Have you ever had to deal with, well, you basically kind of tapped into it. You didn't say the word depression, but you went through grieving and different things like that. Do you have a village, or do you have men surrounded around you that can be your safe space? A lot of times our men just seem to not have that. So recently we've been seeing them kind of spiral out, taking their own lives, getting physical with their women, getting physical with their children, taking their children's lives. So, what is your take on things like that?
That's a very deep subject, because it really hurts to see that someone can make a decision like that and just tear the rest of their lives up or end their lives. Um, I do not, at the present moment, when my dad passed away, I had my uncle, and then my uncle, he's really sick, and so I had to really depend on God. The problem what most men have is being masculine and being tough.
Excuse me.
They don't know how to humble themselves before God. When you humble yourself before God and allow Him to be your guide and your father and all of these different things in your life, then you have something to depend on, something to rely on. It's like being on a deserted island and have no one to talk to, no one to confide in. But God has said He'll never leave us nor forsake us. So even in those dark times, it gets rough, especially as a Black man. Going up and down the highway at night, I perform at night in studio and I travel, and I'm nervous to get pulled over by a cop. And it's not because nothing I did, not because my tags aren't right. It's because I don't know what that cop is thinking in his mind from previous, because they have depression, they have all these things, and they say, you know what, I'm gonna take all my anger out on them. A lot of those cops, not all of them, but some of those cops were like, they were like getting bullied in school, and they used that privilege to get back at people. Because I know that some of the cops are getting scrawnier and scrawnier. It gets smaller.
The correction officers as well. At my job, they getting tiny. I'm like, I'm the same size as you. You smaller than me. What's going on
here? Yeah, but I really encourage people and everybody I come across. I try to impart in them and instill brotherhood, because we do need each other. Yes. I know guys who say, you know what, I'm done. I'm done. I say, yo, let's go out, have something to eat. Right. Let's just talk. God has also blessed me to be a good mentor and like a counselor without the degree. Right. But He said, open up your mouth, and He'll start speaking for you. And a lot of times He put me in a position where I'm able to counsel and allow people to confide in me without sharing their secrets.
Okay. Yes, that part. And that's why I mentioned safe space. I feel like a lot of times men don't want to share because they think, they're going to be judged or maybe thrown in their face later on. And I think that's also causing a glitch or a disconnect with you guys and us, the woman.
Oh yeah.
Where we want to be there for you, but we don't know how to get there to that space because you don't feel like it's a safe place to talk to your woman.
Yeah, and a lot of us, Black people, in general, not all, but if you go by percentage wise, grew up in broken homes. And if you can't trust your parents, it's hard to trust anyone else. So we got to help each other.
Right.
Women have to be in a place where um, if they men are not who, if once you're married, there's no oh, my man is this, my man is that. You chose him. You walk down the aisle. You
We
have plenty of
together
time
forever.
You have plenty of time to consider this.
He said you had plenty of time to consider.
So now you're there. It's like, let me meet you where you're at. And you can't have, if I'm coming in like a lion, you can't come in like a lion.
Right.
You know, I really believe there's, when men look at women, we put them on a pedestal like they are queens. And if I come in hot and you come in hot, I'm supposed to be the protector.
Right.
So I'm like, should I bow down to you right now, or should I let you?
Like, what's happening?
What's
Back up, Satan.
So, women really have to understand, like, in some cases, and I'm not, being mean in any way, but understand positioning, how God created it from the beginning. This is a touchy subject, I know, but when He created Adam and Eve, He created man and gave him dominion. And He didn't make him better than a woman, but He put him in position to protect and take care of a woman. And the woman is His help.
Right.
And a lot of times, men, like you said, they play sports. And they're 40, 50 years old and can't get a job, but the woman is a career woman. And they talking bad about him when they chose him. And it's like, now she coming in like, I pay the bills. Change the whole dynamics.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And it's hard for a man, even if he's not making no money, to sit there and say, you know what, I'll be the recessive one in this situation. So I do believe it's a give and take.
Yeah.
I really believe that people should really study their mate, have lengthy conversations. Don't be afraid to ask anything.
Right.
And if God would not let things go unspoken, sometimes we ignore it. You see things and you're like, maybe he'll change. No, God is showing you this is who he is.
So what they call it, red flags.
Yeah.
Like red flags keep coming. You like act like you Mike Tyson dodging. Like nope.
And then 10 years down the line, you're like, girl, I can't believe I ended up with this man.
Yeah, you can. You better own that thing.
Right.
All right. So thank you so much for that. That was awesome. So now, what's next? Not just in music, for you. Antoine Hilton.
So my grandmother, she was my pastor for many years.
Okay.
For all my life, basically. She and my mom, they moved down south. I told you, Dakota, that was us.
Right.
All in the house. And when they moved down south, I was very active in the church. I was there when it opened the church. I was there when the church closed. I was the last one to leave. Praise and worship leader, music director, minister, deacon. I was everything. And I was saying, like, God, like, where are my brothers and sisters? Where are my cousins? Like, can I get some help in here? Yeah. And not knowing God was training me to step in her place. So when she left, before she left, she had a meeting with the leaders in the church. And she said, so I'm going to be moving down south. If you guys ever need me for anything, you can call, things of that nature. She's older now. And she looked at me and she said, you ready to take over? And at that point, I was like, no.
He was like Scooby-Doo.
I was like, no, but in my spirit, I already knew.
Yeah.
I already knew. Because God, like,
I got chills.
Yeah, because like David, he was tending to the sheep and doing all these different things. Lo and behold, God was preparing him.
Yes, prepare.
So all of that stuff I was doing was preparation. And then when she left, I still was like, yeah. So I started going to another church.
You did?
I started going to another
church.
He's
like, excuse me.
I said, because when you're a leader, you have to be very mindful. You can't have a bad day and not be a leader. Right. You are a leader.
Say that part.
All the time.
Yeah.
So it's a huge responsibility. So just last Well, October, not the last one I just passed, October before last, I've been pastoring in my church. Yes, so the
That's
Church of the Living God
huge.
in New York. We have churches all over.
I'm gonna have to visit.
Yeah, Louisiana,
You have to
North
be in the
Carolina.
building, see what's going on in
Yeah.
there. This is
We
awesome.
have a great time, and what I love about my church is it's not a fashion show.
Mm-hmm.
No one's trying to out sing the other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No one's trying to out preach the other.
Right.
We all come and we just love God.
Mm.
And I thank God that He allowed me to get some fresh things that He allowed me to pour into.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the growth, which is amazing.
Yes.
And it's all about love, loving God and loving your neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we will be preaching. And so that's
I
what's
love
next
that.
for me. What's going on actually now?
Right.
The music, being a dad, um, and I also, like we was talking about earlier, I love the big sister, big brother thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to bring back in the day, the church was the hospital, the
Right.
church was all at the
Everything.
school.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to bring that back. That's my
Love
goal.
that. Love that. I felt that.
That's my goal.
Wow. That's super dope. So now, pastoring, dad, musician, traveling. Thank you for saying that. You know, I have mentioned boundaries. So you know how important it is to actually say no.
Yes.
So you can be effective. Because I want it to be clear, especially when it comes to the men. It feels like, or well, we feel that you guys carry so much. Like you carry the world on your shoulders. And what you are basically letting us know is that you don't have to.
Right.
You know, especially if you have God. That's the main thing.
Yes.
Let's go back to that. You know, having God to be the center is the most important thing. Because I think a lot of times the men are going through certain things because they're not going to God.
Yes.
They trying to do everything else and, you know, bypass him. And you kind of can't because he's not going anywhere.
Mm-mm.
You know, he's everywhere. But having God as a center is the most important thing. But like you showed us, you know, if you're intentional with everything you do and understand that every opportunity is not your opportunity,
that's true.
then you won't be overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can be, you know, effective in every aspect of your life. Thank you so much. I'm excited for you. Like I am absolutely excited for you. Like I got chills a few times, you know, speaking with you. So you have the church now. How often or how do you do the whole traveling thing? Because I'm sure opportunities just kind of pop up at times.
Yes, that right there is a blessing that I have because God allowed me to instill into others where what people fail to do is prepare for their absence.
That part. That was good.
So I was able to instill into young deacons, and we have ministers and evangelists that can carry on when I'm not there. And I trust them.
Yes.
And I trust the God in them.
Mm-hmm.
So just the other weekend, I had to, go away for the weekend, and the service went amazing. I had to check in. How's everything going? Everything was amazing, and certain things. I had an assignment where I had to go sing, and up until I was on the stage, I was saying, God, like, did you want me here or did you want me there?
Right.
I knew He wanted me there, but the obstacles was like, this is getting too complicated.
It wasn't adding up. Mm-hmm.
And God was just showing me like certain things He made provision as it go along. People want to see it before they get there.
Right.
But what God does sometimes, I said, my drummer couldn't make it, bass player couldn't make it, and we in another town.
Right.
I'm like, how's this gonna work? So God, He worked it out.
Yeah, He always does.
I'm like at the the ninth hour, He worked it out. I'm like, okay, God, I'm supposed to be here.
It's the obedience. I'm telling you, it's the obedience, regardless of how it looks.
Yes.
You stay obedient. You know, they say obedience is better than sacrifice. So you be obedient, God's gonna make a way for you.
Absolutely.
That's so amazing. Oh my gosh, I can't. So clearly you now have trusting women that are singing background singing now, right?
Yes.
Okay. We don't want you to get tapped on the shoulder no more. Okay, we passed that point. We passed that point.
They live the life.
I love that. All right, so leave us with something for the people connected to being a Black man, walking in your gifts, being unashamed to be a man of God, being a father. Leave us with something.
Okay. First, I want to say, lean out to your own understanding. A lot of times we go through these obstacles because we're trying to figure out what we want and not what's for us, because we are born with a purpose. Um, the hardest thing is finding your purpose, but you've been doing it all your life. You've been doing it all your life, whether it's like I had baptized my oldest son for the first time. Wow. He was my first candidate for baptism. So I baptized him. And one of the evangelists, she said to me, she said, when you were younger, you used to baptize people and say, I'm going to baptize you in Jesus' name. Ooh, look at that. And it was like, she said, this is a full circle. And it just did something to me.
That's amazing. I love that.
So 10 times out of 10, you've been doing what God has called you to do from young. So I say, lean out to your own understanding, find out what God has for your life, and pursue that. And also, don't be afraid to say no.
Right.
And don't be afraid of a no.
Hello.
Because a no can save your life. A no can save so much time in your life. They saying no, and you saying, but no, but and God is saying, oh, come on. They kept asking for a king.
Hello.
He said, this is what y'all want?
This is what y'all want?
Here's
okay.
So, okay. And
Hello.
then it was like, get this king away.
It's like, time out.
That's not what I really wanted.
Like, not that.
Wow. Yeah. So just don't be afraid of a no. Accept the no as well as you accept the yes.
Love that. Love that. Tell the people where they can find you and where they can download the music.
Oh, you can download wherever you purchase your music from, iTunes, stream on Spotify. We want you to go to iTunes.
For sure.
Anywhere you download music, I'm on all social media at Antoine Hilton. That's ANTOINEHILTON. And we have an album coming out in July. I'm excited about. It's called Love and Repeat, and we having a celebration
Love
here.
and Repeat. I love that.
That's our daily duties, to love and do the next thing every day.
That was dope.
So we have
God gave you that?
God gave that
I
to
know
me.
He had to, because I felt that. Love and Repeat.
Yes, Love and Repeat. So in July 14th is the release date, and we're having a great celebration out here in New York. Hopefully
we gotta come.
Make it. Yeah,
I gotta make it. July 14th, y'all. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be amazing.
All right, listen, you guys, make sure y'all hit up iTunes, specifically iTunes, to download the music. Let's get excited and listen. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you. Oh my goodness, this was so good. This was so good to my spirit. Okay,
amen.
Listen, follow him on all social media platforms at Antoine Hilton. Instagram, Twitter. You on Twitter too?
I'm on Twitter.
You on everything?
Everything.
Oh, okay, he on everything. So yeah, Antoine at Antoine Hilton on all social media platforms. Make sure you download the music on iTunes. Wait for it. July will be here in 2 seconds. I promise. We're already in March, y'all. This is different out here. So make sure you guys pay attention to all that he is doing. If you want to book him, for sure, contact. Yeah. Do you have a manager?
Absolutely. You can email me at antoinehiltonbooking@gmail.com, and they'll take care of it.
Let's go. Antoine Hilton from Hempstead, New York. International Antoine. Let's go with that. Hello. Listen, and give the information for your church as well.
Oh, my church, Church of the Living God, 1272 Langdon Boulevard. We start our service at 12:30, and our Sabbath school is at 11 a.m. All right. Please come out. Celebrate the Lord with us.
Celebrate the Lord, because he's doing great things in the life of Mr. Antoine Hilton. Once again, thank you so much for coming on. You guys, make sure you subscribe to Hot Mic with Lady She podcast on YouTube. Let's go. Listen, everyone, pay attention and continue to tune in to the Men Where Art Thou series. We have some amazing men like Antoine coming up here, sharing their thoughts on their experiences, sharing their anecdotes of things they've gone through and how to make things better for our men. Men, we love you. Continue to be strong. Continue to walk in your purpose that God has given you. And we out of here. Bye.